grab those last of those Easter eggs and sit back, relax, because I'm back with another movie wrap-up episode. How many films do we think I watched this week? 4, 5, 6, 10, 20, 25, 80? I tell you what, it would be very impossible for me to watch 80 films in the space of a week. I'd probably get bored after the first 10 if I just watched films and films and films and films for like the entire week. I've done it before. I got bored halfway through. Anyway, fun story. Here we go. It's time for my next episode of the Movie Wrap-Up. You're watching Steve's Movie Wrap-Up, episode 21. The first movie we'll be reviewing in this episode is How to Date Billy Walsh. How to Date Billy Walsh is now streaming on Amazon Prime Video. I watched this movie thinking it'll be a decent movie. The movie came out on Friday the 5th of April 2024. And was this movie a decent one? It really wasn't. I thought this was going to be a decent rom-com movie. I thought it was going to be funny and romantic. But let's face it, I didn't laugh too much at this movie. Well, as much as I was anticipating. The movie gets a 1-star rating from me. And want to know why? Well, because Maisie Peters, singer-songwriter, makes a small cameo in this movie at the beginning and towards the end of the film as well. And there's also this one scene where one of the main characters, Archie, stands up to one of these nasty girls in the school called Amber, and I'll say that he had the balls and guts to do that. But this movie though, I mean, was it worth the 1 hour and 40-minute running time? Not really. If Archie had just told his best friend Amelia at the start of the movie that he loves her, the movie could have been a 2-minute short film. We wouldn't have needed the other scenes, which for me were rather cringe to watch and just ridiculous. There is actually a scene in particular, well, it goes on throughout the film actually, where Archie breaks the fourth wall. So it just feels like 1 minute, he's there talking in character, then the next he's there directly looking at you, like directly looking at the camera, looking at the audience, breaking the fourth wall all the time. It just felt so forced and so cringy. Anyway, but yeah, that for me was just ridiculous. Some of the acting in this was rather bad or mediocre. The pacing was all over the place, and also it tried to be funny at times, but I wasn't laughing. And I'm sure if this got a cinema release, I don't think anyone else in the audience would have laughed in this movie. I feel as though the script was written by a 12-year-old and not an actual adult, because there are some certain sayings and some comebacks which are just rather lame and sound like something a 12-year-old or younger would have said, rather than a young actress or actor who is portraying the role of a 16/17-year-old character in a movie. And then, of course, you have the love doctor in this movie as well, which, by the way, Amelia is getting advice from on how to date this guy she's interested in called Billy Walsh, hence the title. Anyways, the advice that she's getting from is actually her best friend Archie, who has used an aging app to make himself look a lot older on a video chat he has with Amelia, and tries to make Amelia look bad on her date with Billy, all because Archie himself always has had feelings for his best friend Amelia, and despite them not keeping secrets from each other since they've known each other all of their life, Archie is keeping this secret that he has feelings for Amelia from her, and has done so for the last 10 years. The movie does star some recognisable faces like Nick Frost, who is basically a taxi driver in this movie, and Kunal Nair, who a lot of people will know plays Raj from The Big Bang Theory. He also stars in this movie playing Amelia's dad, and I thought his performance was pretty decent as well. But aside from that though, the rest of the supporting cast members, they either had mediocre acting or bad acting in this movie. I hated the fact as well it had some really cheesy moments in this which felt rather forced, and the fact that they had these pop-up animated emojis and text messages. Yeah, that wasn't great neither, to be honest. If this review wasn't enough to persuade you to not watch this movie and save you an hour and 40 minutes of watching this, then feel free to watch How to Date Billy Walsh, as it's available now to stream over on the streaming service Amazon Prime Video. Musica. The final film that I watched this week was Musica, which I gave 3.5 stars over on Letterboxd. So the movie was a load of fun. Musica is now streaming on Amazon Prime Video and stars Camila Mendes, who has starred in previous roles like the TV series Riverdale and the movie that came out earlier this year on Prime Video titled Upgraded, which I reviewed earlier this year back in February. The movie also stars Rudy Mancuso, who also directs this movie as well, and I have only one issue with this dude, and it seems other Letterboxd users have the same issue. He needs to do something with his hair. I mean, come on, it's just all over the place. You probably can't tell much from this poster, but you can definitely tell when watching this movie. Did I have a lot of fun with this movie? Yeah, I did. Was this a decent movie? It was. Is this a movie that I would happily watch again and again? It is. Was this movie better than the previous movie I watched in the form of How to Date Billy Walsh? It definitely was. What's funny about this is a better rom-com movie than How to Date Billy Walsh was. There was a lot of musical elements to this movie, which I really enjoyed. The shots in this was pretty amazing too. I also enjoyed the fact that we got this like Brazilian culture vibe to the movie as well, which is interesting. I also enjoyed the fact that when Rudy's character was walking through the subway station where he works at, you've got all these lyrics that one of the buskers had across the walls and ceilings in the subway station, which was also really good. So basically, when the busker was singing the song that he was singing, the lyrics would appear on the ceiling and on the walls at the same time, which I thought was pretty decent. This movie did give me those kind of vibes from the movie that came out a couple of years ago called In the Heights. And there was this opening scene from the movie which actually took me all the way back to my childhood when I watched High School Musical 2. Bizarrely, I've only really seen High School Musical 2 and only parts from the first one, but never watched the third one. Anyways, I really enjoyed this movie a lot, and it's definitely one that I recommend people to go and watch for themselves. Musica is now available to stream on Amazon Prime Video. And that is all the movies that I have watched this week. Actually, before I do go, this past weekend, actually, it's been opening weekend for 2 movies, which actually I'm going to be reviewing in next week's episode of the Movie Wrap-Up, which is coming out on Sunday at 4 p.m. UK time next weekend. If I just very quickly step to one side, I'll bring you up the first poster. These are similar posters, by the way. First poster is for the first Omen, which is a prequel to the original Omen movie that came out way back in, like, I think the 70s. But anyway, look at this poster, right? It's got somebody that stood, like, you know, in what looks like a doorway with red lighting, yeah? Well, anyway, I'm watching that movie later this week, but the next poster that I've got to show you very quickly, actually, is another one, another movie that I'm watching later this week. So if we switch to the next poster, please, and here it is. This one is for Monkey Man, which is kind of like this action movie. I kind of like to think of it as John Wick, but it's from Dev Patel, his directorial debut, and of course I do recognise Dev Patel from the movie Slumdog Millionaire that came out many years ago. I'm pretty sure he's done other projects since, but I more recognise his name from that project specifically. But just notice the 2 of them, you know, the fact that they've got these people standing in a doorway with red lighting on it. I mean, it's so bizarre that both posters have got that same kind of vibe to it. Anyway, so I just thought I'd bring those up very quickly and show you guys those. But I mean, that's just very weird. Anyway, I am going to be watching both of those movies this week because they are on my watch list, and they're very anticipated movies for me to watch this month as well. So the fact that both those movies are out in cinemas right now definitely gives me the motivation to go out, go to the cinema, go watch both those movies in the next week and review it for you in next week's episode of the movie wrap up for you. Okay, so that is coming up. So that'll be on Sunday the 14th of April 2024 at 4 p.m. UK time. Hope you can join me then. But if you have enjoyed this video though, feel free to smash that like button. Feel free to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Like in every other episode of the movie wrap up, my question is, what movies have you been watching in the last week? Whether it's on streaming, whether it's in cinemas, old or new, let me know in the comment section down below. And as always, if you like what you see, then feel free to hit that subscribe button to become a Stevo. Anyway, like I said, your next movie wrap-up episode is coming out on Sunday the 14th of April 2024. So I hope you can join me then. But from me though, it's goodbye. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys again in my next YouTube video.